Hello everyone, how are you? Hope you're having an awesome day wherever and whenever you're watching this. I'm your host Eamon Hassan and welcome back to another video here at Most Amazing Top 10. Now I feel like we are the generation that feeds off of conspiracy theories. We just want things to be shady and not really how they seem. I don't know, I feel like we just get a satisfying kick out of it, and the internet is no different. You guys liked the first part of this so much, so here is the top 10 scary internet conspiracy theories part 2. Starting us off at number 10 are the Beatles, and this is sort of like a two-pointer, so it will carry on into number 9 as well. So the first theory about the Beatles is that the band didn't exist at all. And I know you're probably like, Eamon, how dare you say that about the Fab Four? Well, just hear me out, please. The theory claims that the band was actually a rotating cast of identical actors, and Beatlemania was insane. It was like everyone was on crack in the 60s whenever they were even mentioned. The theory suggests that there was no way the boys could keep up with their grueling schedules and appearances without ever getting sick or tired. I mean, they released 27 studio albums in the space of 8 years. It took Frank Ocean 4 years to release one album. Sorry, no shade to Frank Ocean. There's also physical evidence in how they look different in many pictures that have been published. There are sites full of photo analysis separating at least 6 different faces for each member. And I know it sounds stupid, but I was looking at the side-by-side comparisons and I was like, okay, damn, maybe there were more than one person. I mean, looked pretty convincing, but I get sold easily, so. I mean, there's like jaw angle comparison, the difference in their nose shapes. I mean, it's ridiculous and it's detailed. So, what do you think? Coming in at number 9 is Paul. So the second part of the Beatles theory is solely focused on Paul McCartney, and it's not that he didn't exist, but the fact he already died. Now many fans believe Paul secretly died in 1997, but the Beatles covered up his death, and it was easy to do that anyway because they had multiple identical actors of each member, but it also gets deeper. They went on to say that the group couldn't handle the guilt of the cover-up anymore and started hiding Easter eggs about it in their songs. If you listen to A Day in the Life, for example, it has the lyric "he blew his mind out in a car," and if played backwards you can apparently hear the phrase "Paul is dead, miss him, miss him." The theory even brings in his ex-wife Heather Mills, who's made some pretty weird claims like, "I have a box of evidence that's going to a certain person should anything happen to me." Alright, Heather. And when asked about knowing what she knows now about Paul, would she marry him again, to which she said never, and that things are not what you see. This caused people to speculate that she was stuck in a marriage with someone she didn't know because she had to live with his doubles unknowingly. I mean, I don't know if this is true, but if they pulled off this whole multiple actor identical thing, that's quite a mastermind plan right there, and it was quite foolproof clearly, because it worked. At number 8 we have the Archons. Now this needs a bit of backstory. Firstly, Archons are the servants of the demiurge, who is the creator god that stands between us and another transcendent god that can only be reached via gnosis. Secondly, there's a new world order theory surrounding Archons, and the human poster boy for this theory is famous footballer and professional conspiracy theorist David Icke. He proposed there was an interdimensional race of reptilian beings, the Archons, who hijacked Earth and are actively trying to stop humanity from reaching its full potential. He proposed that Archons are similar to deities found in Babylonian creation myths who mated with human women. So based on that, he thinks genetically modified human Archon shape-shifting hybrids are walking amongst us. He dubbed them the Babylonian Brotherhood or the Illuminati and said these things are always in high positions of power. He said the first breeding program between both species took place probably 200 to 300,000 years ago, going as far to say perhaps they even created Adam. They're not only from another planet, they're from a completely different dimension, and it's through their dimension that they control the dimension our world is in. Now filling our number 7 slot is the Ice Bucket Challenge. So if you were active on the interwebs back in 2014, then you probably remember or were nominated to do the Ice Bucket Challenge to promote awareness for ALS. From the name it's pretty self-explanatory, but basically the person nominated has to be filmed pouring a bucket of ice water on themselves and then nominating someone else. Well, this theory suggests that the challenge wasn't to raise awareness at all, but a satanic ritual or a ritual purification ceremony. One conspiracy theorist even said it was an easy, fast way to cleanse America in the name of Antichrist Lucifer Satan for some some future thing. Being dunked in ice cold water used to be a way of punishment for witches back in medieval times, and apparently dabbling in things and bringing them back can lead to dire consequences. One of the so-called creators of the challenge committed suicide mid-ALS fundraiser. Corey Griffin supposedly left the event and then jumped off the roof of the venue, and then he floated to the surface of the sea and then disappeared. It seemed bizarre and out of place that he would commit suicide in the middle of the night after just raising $100,000 for the cause. Was he somehow punished for creating the challenge? I'm really not too sure, to be honest, but the whole thing is pretty shady. Thankfully, I did not do it. Now, number 6 is AIDS, and I feel like this is a pretty common conspiracy theory because I've heard about it so many times, but if you haven't, your mind's about to be blown. So the first AIDS epidemic started in 1981, according to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, but so many rumors and theories have circulated saying the CIA created the virus to wipe out African Americans and homosexuals. Even the president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, agreed with it at one point, saying it didn't originate in Africa, it was the US government who manufactured it in labs. I mean, that's a president saying that right there. Even Nobel Peace Prize winner Wangari Maathai supported the theory in the peak of her international spotlight. Others speculated the government purposefully injected gay men with the virus during hepatitis B experiments in 1978, and it just grew from there. Another theory says it was Nixon and the US Army's biowarfare department along with the National Cancer Institute. And funnily enough, this theory hasn't just been about AIDS. The same thing happened when we had that critical Ebola outbreak that came and went suspiciously quickly. Coming in at number 5 is Jack the Ripper. This is probably my favorite serial killer case out there. I don't know why, it just is. Now, Jack the Ripper was a serial killer that killed people in the Whitechapel area of London in 1888. He was a menace and he was also never identified, although there are guesses upon guesses on who he was. Now here's where it gets a bit crazy. So this theory suggests Jack the Ripper was actually Lewis Carroll, aka Lewis Carroll, the author of Alice in Wonderland, Lewis Carroll. Apparently, clues backing this up can be found in his own books. Books like Sylvie and Bruno that were written at the time of the murders have anagrams in them that can be rearranged into pretty horrible confessions. One of them being, I got a tight hold of her and slit her throat left ear to right. This theory was created by Richard Wallace, the author of Jack the Ripper, Light-Hearted Friend. I mean, maybe look up light-hearted in the dictionary, Richard, don't think you're using it right. At number 4 are weather weapons. Now I know a lot of people have heard about the conspiracy theory that the government put some sort of mind-controlling agent in airplane contrails, but world-renowned conspiracy theorist Alex Jones doesn't buy it. And maybe neither should we. No, I'm kidding. He claims that the government is trying to control the weather in order to wreak havoc on us. I mean, what did we do? I swear the government just hates us. He said back in the late 90s, Texas had some floods that killed around 30 people in one night, but it later turned out to be the Air Force's fault. He obviously does believe in natural disasters occurring naturally, but he posits that not all of them are natural. He claimed that a tornado that occurred in May of 2013, which killed 24 people and injured 200, was produced by the government. He maintains that there is weather modification going on for sure. Do we trust Alex Jones? Do we not? What do we think, people? Filling our number 3 slot are Jesus and Mary. So this conspiracy theory suggests that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were married. And yes, I'm fully aware this is basically the storyline for the Da Vinci Code, but it actually has a genuine basis. In the Gnostic Gospels, which were discovered in 1945, the Gospel of Philip refers to Mary as Jesus' koinonos, which is a Greek word meaning partner or companion, implying she was closer to Jesus than any other apostle. In a later exchange between Mary and Peter, he tells her that the Savior loved you above all other women, which suggests jealousy among the apostles towards Mary and her relationship with Jesus. I mean, till now the Gnostic Gospel's authenticity is still disputed by religious experts, so take this with a grain of salt. Now at number 2 is population control. So this one also comes from Alex Jones, who claims that the government is using chemicals to turn people gay. An apparent gay bomb made by the Pentagon. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. It is. Back in 2010, he said the reason there's been such an increase in homosexuality is because it's a chemical warfare operation focused on population control. He even claimed he has government documents saying they're going to encourage homosexuality so people don't have children. I love how they think that'll stop anyone. I mean, like surrogacy, donors, adoption, there's many other options. Also, for the record, a government lab did request funds back in 1994 to develop a weapon that would turn enemy combatants gay. day. But the project was shelved and nothing was ever developed. I don't even know the logic in that one. Even if they did make combatants gay, that wouldn't affect their ability to be a combatant at all, so I don't get it. Love is love, people. Government, leave us alone. And finally, at number 1 is Queen Elizabeth, this little old lady that really you can't hate. You honestly, I feel like she's a living meme. You can't hate her. She just looks cheeky as hell in every single photo I see of her, and she's just cute. And it honestly blows my mind that someone who lived through Tudor England and its anarchy is still alive today. But anyway, the Queen is an energetic lady. Most people slow down considerably in their 80s, but she is showing no signs of slowing down, and the woman turns 93 in 2 days. Happy early birthday, by the way. Now, British historian Hubert Humdinger, who doesn't even sound real, theorized there's a secret to her longevity. For a 1973 article in We Royalty, he suggested she consumes human flesh in order to stay so vivacious. Vivacious? 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 One of them. Now, human muscle is also meant to have a lot of spiritual energy inside it. In 2012, the website Dear Dirty America confirmed this, saying they got the insight from a former serviceman at Windsor Castle who said he found remains of a human in her private fridge. Now, I feel like because I like her, I refuse to believe this, but what do you guys think? Is this little woman a cannibal? Is she not? Should I stop calling her a little woman? Probably. And that's it for today's video, guys. I feel like so many conspiracy theories are to do with the government, them doing something, or being shady, or like the New World Order. There's just too many to the point I'm laughing on the outside but also crying on the inside because it's just not even funny anymore. But anyway, let me know what you guys think and if you dispute any of it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think and whether you disagree with any of these. I'm your host, Eamon Hassan, and I'll see you next time. Bye!